So these were the scenes out of New York City today. Several protesters were arrested after blocking the entrance to a fancy fundraising gala for a right-wing think tank called the Manhattan Institute. And as you can see here, their signs made it quite clear why they were protesting. Here's one sign: migrants aren't robbing you, billionaires are. It's pretty clear. Another was much larger and more explicit. You can see it right there on the screen. These billionaires are killing us. And this was Washington, D.C. today. A group of moms protesting with their kids right in front of the Capitol, holding signs with a very simple message: families over billionaires. And that message that Trump's economy is deepening inequality has been a common theme at the protests and town halls all across the country, where a growing number of Americans have shown up with signs and bullhorns. And elected Democrats have been working to harness that energy and make clear that they are the ones standing up for them. Joining me now are two people who have been doing that quite effectively: Democratic Congressman Greg Casar of Texas and Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow. First of all, I'm going to take credit for you two meeting, because I heard you at dinner before this, and for some reason in my mind, I thought every effective Democratic communicator, elected official knew each other, but now I'm happy you know each other.
Now we've had lasagna.
No, we do. Now you've had lasagna. So let me start with you. I mean, you've both been campaigning and traveling around the country. You've said recently, a corpse is not an inspiring political leader. I think that's a T-shirt. Somebody should make it out there. But since you've been out there talking to people in red districts, when you meet with people, what do they want? They want fighters, but what else do they bring up to you that they want to see more from elected officials in Washington?
They want to know that the Democratic Party isn't just taking their votes for granted, isn't just running on not being Trump. And honestly, it really scares me thinking about the fact that as Democrats too often we're like, well, maybe Trump will just implode, and that's our plan for the next 2 years, play dead, and then we might win the midterms, which we absolutely need to win. But instead of just a 2-year plan, I'm worried about 12 years of Trump and then a President J.D. Vance if we don't actually go and tell folks we're going to make a huge, real difference in your life, that Democrats aren't just not Trump, that we're actually the folks that are going to fight the billionaires, make sure you get paid what you're worth, that you can retire a little bit early, that we're going to get you the health care we need. And I think that when folks feel the real fear that they're feeling right now, you know, Republicans just announced might be able to kick 8 million people off their health care for these billionaire tax cuts. We've got to show that we're not just outraged by that, but that we're going to expand health care for you. Not just that we're not the bad guys, but that we're going to make a real tangible difference in your life, like FDR did when he created Social Security and the New Deal and defeated fascism around the world. People rewarded Democrats for generations after that, or LBJ, who created Medicare, Medicaid, and Head Start all in one term. The question is, can Democrats do that again? And I think that's the way that we don't just beat Trump, but beat the cynicism that creates the next Trump.
I mean, you're running for Senate. You're talking to people in Michigan all the time. You've been elected in Michigan, too. You're not a creature of Washington in any way, shape, or form. So you're actually talking to people all the time. I mean, one of the things that I've seen as an interesting shift, I mean, the policies of the Democratic Party are very much ones that stand up for and defend working people. But that's not what people are hearing. When you talk to people in Michigan, are they looking for a better understanding of what these policies are, or they're saying they're not bold enough even when they understand them?
First of all, Michiganders want people who actually listen. I was at my daughter's swim class over the weekend, sitting next to another mom watching our 4-year-olds learn how to swim. And she was complaining.
A prodigy if she's learning how to swim.
She is. Well, we're the Great Lakes state, so we got to make sure that she's safe. She doesn't drown when we go into the lake, so really important at that age. But you listen to Trump talk about things like, well, they can have 3 dolls and not 30 dolls. And it paints childcare and raising a child as if it's a luxury, and then there's this idea of we're just going to throw out a $5,000 check to encourage you to have more babies. With this mom, we were talking about the fact that our kids are growing like weeds. My daughter needs new rain boots. She just grew out of her old rain boots, and she's going to need rain boots again in 6 months, because if she doesn't have shoes on her feet, she's not going to be allowed to go outside to play at her preschool. And it is just things compounding one over another. And there is this real sense on the ground in Michigan that Trump and Republicans aren't hearing people at all. And it's not a surprise. They're not showing up at town halls. They're not actually engaging with people. So they're running on all of these ideas with the supposed mandate that they think they had to give billionaires another tax break so they can slash Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security and spike the price of strollers and shoes and clothes. And they wonder why parents are concerned right now. So step one is showing up every single day, really listening to people, and then coming back with policies that say, we've heard you, here are our solutions to solve your problems, as a stark contrast to what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing.
One of the things you both have in common is you are not afraid to speak up for what you believe in, but I think you're also about expanding the tent of the party and eliminating kind of purity tests. I mean, this is something you've talked about. You've said similar things, too. What does that look like? I mean, what are the purity tests as you look at them that you think need to be eliminated in order to get more people to be a part of the movement?
When I think about building a big tent, I actually think about before I was in Congress, and not a story from the C-suite or a courtroom, but on construction sites. I was actually a labor organizer in the construction field well before running for elected office. And our job was to get hundreds of guys who have disagreements on a variety of issues to all work together towards a common cause. And we would encounter wealthy real estate developers that would bark about efficiency while paying themselves more and more. Guys who thought none of the rules applied to them and thought they were big shots and would say things like, you're fired. So we've dealt with the Donald Trump playbook before. But on those construction sites, we could say, look, we might disagree on this issue or that one, but we can all work together to win a raise. And that's what we were able to build in the labor movement. That's what we're able to build on construction sites and on shop floors all across the country. And that's what I think we need to be able to do as a Democratic Party, is to say, look, there are social issues that impact us all, and we should stand firmly for the rights of everyday vulnerable people. But the way we win back the trust of the overwhelming number of people is what brings us all together, which is that pocketbook issue.
I'm betting you agree with this a bit. But let me ask you this question, too, about purity tests, because I think that's not probably how you're running for Senate in Michigan.
Certainly
I know
not.
it's not.
No.
What is that when you hear, because, you know, it's interesting. You're the head of the Progressive Caucus here, and it's something you've said. What do you make of that? We don't have that much time left, but I'd love to hear from you on this.
So something that I think about is just eliminating labels altogether and reaching out to everybody. At the end of the day, we are not Democrats and Republicans and independents or progressives or moderates. We're people. And people who generally want the same things. We all want to live in a safe neighborhood. We all want to have great schools for our kids. We all want to know that we have clean water and clean air and that we have careers that are going to give us enough to put food on the table, but also to go on vacation. And stripping down the labels and just meeting your neighbors and saying, hi, I'm Mallory. I'm a mom. I'm a Michigander. I give a damn about what our state looks like. What do you care about? That's how we bring more people into our party and how we win elections.
Everybody's going to want to come to the McMorrow because our dinner club that I'm just going to advertise from here. Thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. Love always talking to you. We'll be right back. We're just going to take a quick break.